Well, we pre-exist the Tea Party by almost 20 years. We were talking a lot about the actual Boston Tea Party as a model for many years before there was a Tea Party movement.
Okay.
We didn't create it. We were part of it probably from day one just
Mm-hmm.
because of our model as a service center to activists who want to get involved. But there's definitely a close working relationship,
Okay.
but they don't work for us and we don't work for them.
Now, is there a split going on in the Tea Party? Because I know that the Tea Party, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tea Party was basically founded as a fiscally conservative outfit. But there are also some chapters of the Tea Party that are very socially conservative as well. They get involved in gay marriage issues and things like that. Is there a split in the Tea Party?
Well, it's obviously it's a spontaneously growing social movement, so that anybody can create a Tea Party. I've been impressed. I've actually never met a Tea Party leader that's focused on gay marriage, and I talk to groups almost every day of the week. They've been pretty consistent arguing that that's generally not an issue that they want the federal government involved with. But every Tea Party leader is welcome to take on whatever issues they want. I don't think that's a split. I think that would be an aberration from the norm, because if you wade into any group, they'll say fiscal responsibility, individual liberty, and limited government are the binding issues that hold us all together.
Seems like every Democrat, when they're going after a Republican, they say the Tea Party Republican. Is the Tea Party have a negative connotation out there to the average American voter?
The phrase Tea Party, the negatives associated with that have gone up over the last couple of years because we've really gotten pounded, frankly, by both political parties. You can see both Republicans and Democrats pounding on us. I should point out that the Democrats used that phrase, Tea Party Republican, to try to beat a lot of insurgent Republican candidates in 2010, and it was a dismal failure. And the data that I see shows that, very strong support for the Tea Party runs at about 30%. But if you look at the issues that we fight for, balancing the budget, limiting federal power, defending individual liberty, those issues are trending dramatically in the United States, and in large part as a reaction against the Obama administration.
But also there's some resistance within the Republican Party as well. I mean, there's a feeling among some Republicans that if the Tea Party puts up a candidate, for example, the one in Nevada, the one in Delaware, that it's undermining the Republican base. What's your response to that?
Establishment Republicans' record of success and failure, if you were actually to look at all of the races and try to judge them objectively, they've performed far worse than the Tea Party has. And they pull out those few races. We don't win them all. And certainly as a decentralized community, we make our mistakes. But what's different is the extraordinary shift in the conversation. Politics is kind of a lagging indicator. But we're all talking about the national debt. We're talking about overreach in Obamacare. And if you look at the polling going into 2014, it's our issues that define this election. And they're going to try to change the subject because they can't win on the issues.
There's been a lot of talk among Democrats and among the media that might be skewed to the left, saying the Tea Party is dead. They've been anticipating this funeral for a long time, haven't they?
I could show you articles from April 16, 2009, saying it's over after the Tax Day rallies, after the big march on Washington that September, right before the 2010 election, right after the 2010 election. It's a narrative, I think, that a lot of them pursue, some of them for partisan reasons, but I think a lot of reporters are grappling to figure out what this decentralized, chaotic thing is, because it's part of a paradigm shift in politics. It's shifting power away from the top-down structures, the RNC and the DNC, and to local moms organizing local groups. And it's hard to report on that.
Is the Tea Party still robust in your mind?
Very much so. And what's happening is it's evolved from a protest movement in 2009, get out the vote machine in 2010, and arguably in 2012. A lot more of these activists are focusing on local precinct captain positions, local school boards, local state legislatures. So they've gone local. They still think nationally, but they're focused on the mechanics at the local level. That, to me, is a sign of a stronger social movement, not a weaker one.
I'll use a couple quotes that you mentioned in your speech today. Quote, "We need to rehabilitate the word work." Could you expand on that?
Yeah, I think right now you have Nancy Pelosi rationalizing the job destruction under Obamacare, extolling the opportunity of leisure. And I find that particularly offensive, particularly if you're 18 or 21 trying to break into the job force. That's the biggest opportunity you'll ever have. I think work is awesome. I think the opportunity to define for yourself what your future is, the opportunity to do something that someone hasn't done before. That's why we like work. It's not this yoke around your neck. It's an opportunity to do something.
And Ashton Kutcher, of all people, pretty much pronounced that as well.
Yeah, he said that opportunity looks a lot like hard work. He's basically saying no one's going to give this to you. You got to go get it. And that was controversial in Hollywood, but it was sort of a common sense notion that even a movie star got, and it was a good thing.
Another quote you had was, "Government goes to those who show up."
You know, you think about our democratic republic and the way the founders made it very clear that the Constitution, for all of its genius, would not survive unless the people were always willing to hold government and its representatives accountable, in check, keep an eye on them. Somewhere along the way, those of us that believe in small government, small L libertarians, constitutional conservatives, we left that responsibility to someone else. And I think what's emerging today with social media and the internet is an ability of more people to get involved. We need to understand that's part of our responsibility as Americans to make sure if you don't like what Washington is doing, do something about it.
Another quote you had was, "Libertarianism is not libertine."
Yeah, I think there's a lot of confusion about that. The philosophy of liberty is a political philosophy, says that government shouldn't be involved in our lives except for the basic functions, defending life, liberty, and property. Somewhere along the way that got redefined as sort of libertine, do whatever you want, take no responsibility for your actions. I think the exact opposite is true. Libertarianism forces you to take responsibility for your own actions and the burden of looking in the mirror every morning saying, am I living a good life? Am I the person that I should be? That falls on you, and you can't blame somebody else if you didn't get it done.
Are you a registered Republican or a registered Libertarian Party member?
I'm a registered Republican in the district, which is about as sad of a hopeless project as ever.
So are you a Libertarian first or a Republican first?
They're two different things. So I'm a small L libertarian because libertarian is a set of values and a philosophy. Republicans are a political party, and quite often political parties are empty vessels that can be filled with ideas. I think on rare occasions in my life, the Republican Party has lived up to that standard. I remember a great interview that Ronald Reagan gave in 1975 when he said that the heart and soul of conservatism is libertarianism. The Republican Party didn't like that attitude at all. They thought he was going to destroy the Republican Party, when in fact what he did is he hosed out the barn and put something worth supporting into the party structure again.
Your latest book is called "Don't Hurt People and Don't Take Their Stuff." Is that the bumper sticker message for what you believe?
I think it really is, and I think libertarians and constitutional conservatives sometimes get wrapped up with jargon and pie charts. But what we're talking about is really boils down to something quite simple, and those values: don't hurt people, don't take their stuff. That's what allows for voluntary cooperation. It allows for robust community. We shouldn't be afraid to defend those values in their basic, simplest form.
Looking long term, is the to use a phrase, the arc of history bending toward libertarianism, or is it bending towards a more centralized government?
I think freedom is trending in large part because of the decentralization and democratization caused by social media, the internet, bloggers, Twitter queens, and the clash is all of that freedom and all of these people with all of these choices and all of this information at their fingertips versus the trend towards centralization in state government and federal government. That's what this so-called civil war is all about right now. But I think that's a paradigm shift. You don't put the genie back in the bottle. So I would argue that freedom is trending, and all of the heat that's being generated right now is just the frustration with the current establishmentarians seeing that they're losing their grip on power.
So you think you're going to win in the end?
Oh, we're going to win.
Kibbe, thank you for your time.
Thanks, sir.